Okay, we're going to start on our promotion P, another one of our 4 Ps. Before we actually start that, though, I want to spend just a few minutes going over communication. I want to talk about communication in general. The promotion P is exactly that. It's all the communication devices that any corporation has in order to convey to the marketplace the information about the various products and services. So before we get into the specific, let's generalize about communication. And if you think about what communication is and how critical it is, every organization, every job you have, 80% of your workday is spent in some kind of work-related communication. That can be presenting information, that can be writing, reading, listening, speaking, all the different forms of communication. That's an enormous amount of time, and we don't give it enough, I guess, importance or attention. A recent survey of employers, this is some fairly new research, found that the principal disappointment with their newly hired employees relates to the new hires' poor communication skills. They specifically critique our graduates in that they can't write well and that they're not particularly good in doing presentations. Now, I would disagree with the latter. I think our kids do a marvelous job with presentations. In many of my classes, beyond the principal's class, we do presentations, and I think they do a great job. However, with writing, some students really struggle, so make sure that you work really hard on your writing skills. And then finally, this quote, "Schools teach the one thing that's perhaps most valuable for the future employee to know." Unfortunately, very few students bother to learn it. This one basic skill is the ability to organize and express ideas in writing and speaking. So, get the message there, guys. Okay, let's talk about a message now, different parts of a message, different aspects of every message. First of all, the message content. Should you have a rational appeal, emotional, or moral? And the answer to this is not a trick question. Depends on the situation. You know, there are times when an emotional appeal is much more effective than a rational appeal. I mean, just think about any time that you tried to convince your mom and dad to let you do something that you knew they wouldn't want you to do. I bet most of you tried an emotional appeal, the "oh mom," the "oh dad," you know you did that. Or a rational appeal, but "mom, the rest of the kids are doing it and I will look very strange if I don't." Well, it really depends on the situation, you know that. Okay, the message type. Should we try to draw an argument? Should we try to draw a conclusion? All of these depend on the situation. I suppose when it comes to marketing communication, marketing messages, the situation here is that you should pre-test all of your communications if you can. Whether or not you should even establish an argument. Remember, anytime you advertise about your competition, be it good or bad, if we say we are better than X because of this, you're still advertising for them, which is not a good thing to do. And then the message format, and we have so many different formats today for our messages, given all the technology we have. The bottom line here is when you choose your message, make sure you pre-test everything you do, and the situation dictates how you present that information. All right, message problems. And we talked about perception a little bit back under consumer behavior. But we really do have selective attention, selective distortion, and selective retention. If any of you have been in Tampa, Florida, and as you drive, I think it's 275 maybe, that goes into downtown Tampa, there's a big curve as you go into downtown. And several years ago, when I was living in Tampa, and you know what velvet, I guess it's velvet whiskey, black velvet whiskey? And most of the time with their messages, their communications, their ads, they always have a very lovely young lady dressed up in black velvet. Well, this particular situation, they put a billboard up right at the curve of 275 as you went into downtown Tampa. And this lovely young lady was lying there on her side in a black velvet gown, and she was holding a bottle of black velvet whiskey. But as you made the curve, somehow, and I'm sure this is based on technology, she looked like she was rather scantily clad. Well, now if you think about selective attention, meaning did you attend to it? Well, everybody did. Selective distortion, there was no question what they were looking at. Selective retention, anybody who saw that retained it. Only problem was they had to take it down about 2 hours after they started it because of all the accidents. So what can you say? Selective attention. We have to get people to attend to our message. We have to make sure that they don't distort it, so that they interpret it correctly, and that they retain the information correctly. All right, we will do this. Marketing communication, we're going to define this, and this is very broad, so this covers a lot of territory. A process by which two or more persons attempt to consciously or unconsciously, however you do that, influence each other through the use of symbols. And symbols can be words, language, nonverbal communication, all those sorts of things. And the unconsciously part here, and the best example of that is, I work for a university, and no matter where I go, I'm a representative of that university. Most people who know me, see me, meet me, know that I work for a university, and I always have to be aware of that because I convey information about this university, if I behave or not. That's really communicating about this school, so you really have to be aware of all the times you're trying to communicate. And I'll go through this, and then I will stop for communication and go into more specifics. This is now what we call our marketing communications mix. This is our promotion mix, and these are the 5 pieces that essentially make it up. And you have many courses in universities called Integrated Marketing Communications. And what those are classes that take these 5 pieces and show how to use all of them together, or some of them. You don't have to use all of them, but most companies use at least some of these. And then later we will get in each of these and divide it up and talk about it in depth. But advertising is any paid form of non-personal presentation by an identified sponsor. You know what advertising is. You see it on billboards and television, hear it on radio. So it's some kind of message that's being paid for by an organization. Sales promotion, and by the way, many organizations today are taking money out of advertising, putting into sales promotion, because if you think back to when we talked about metrics, it's much easier to measure, to control, to see if your sales promotion is working as opposed to advertising. You cannot ever absolutely 100% prove that advertising increases revenue. You can't do it. You can get closer to proving it with sales promotion because it's a much shorter time span between the time that you have the sales promotion campaign and people buy. With advertising, they may see the ad, not buy a product for 6 months, so you can't connect the two. All right, with public relations, that's where companies try to promote, protect, or really develop an image. And certainly things like Carnival Cruise Lines, they're big into public relations right now with all the disasters they've had recently. You hope that you use public relations for positive things, but unfortunately this kicks in often when you get into trouble. And then personal selling, that's that one-on-one interaction. That's the only place you really have a one-on-one interaction between your buyer and your seller. And direct marketing are things like your internet, your infomercials, all the communication that gets sent to you in the mail. Now we're going to talk about each of these individually, so I will close out communications in general for now, and we will continue on with our promotion P. Again, remember, if you need to contact me, you can get me via live chat when they're working. Email, I check those several times a day, or leave a message on my office phone. Okay? Everybody take care. Hope you're good. Have fun.